When learning what we can do with digital devices, it is helpful to think about the concept of affordances. That is, the things that you can actually do with that particular hardware or software. Now, I should confess, affordances is not a word I have ever used in a sentence before. I started with this, with the new curriculum, so it is fair to say I am learning too. It's a new thing, and it is käyttömahdollisuudet in Finnish. That's what I learned too, but käyttömahdollisuudet or affordances, which compared to the Finnish actually sounds a lot easier now. Affordances, well, they have a place in the real world as much as they do in just this global land of digital. So let's start with a non-digital example first. For example, the main affordance of this chair is that it can be sat on. However, even a chair can have multiple purposes, such as standing on like a ladder or using it to prop open a door. Some chairs will have different affordances. This chair has the ability to spin, but you do need to factor in the user's physical skills when evaluating possible affordances. This chair clearly offers limited affordances, as the physical limitations of the chair also limit the scope of who can use it. As a teacher, your past experiences and conventions will influence what you see as an affordance. For example, when you see various objects, your ability to fully utilize the affordances of each of these items will be limited by your past experience. The conventions that we have learned with touch screens, such as pinching a photo to zoom in or zoom out, swiping to move to the next view, are things that we quickly adopt and apply as common skills across many different apps. Mobile devices such as smartphones and tablets have a particular set of affordances that can be used for learning. Let's explore some of the many affordances on a digital device. Portability, being able to easily move a device from one location to another or using the device while physically moving. Data gathering, such as taking photos, recording videos, and recording data from the various sensors we all have nowadays in our digital devices. Communication, for distributed collaboration and sharing. You can interact with the interface or the device to get real-time information and visualize digital content in fully new ways. You can even use these devices while active learning, outside in the great outdoors, interacting with physical environments using built-in features including video, stopwatch, GPS. Becoming familiar with all these digital features will help you and your students to get the most out of the digital devices. Remember, you don't need one-to-one devices or not the flashiest technology to embrace this curriculum. You just need a few shared devices at least, and a great commitment to be creative and get creative. If we look back 10 years, can we really use the same excuses as we used then? Just look at the devices we nowadays have in our back pockets and bags. The digital world really is global. We want our students to embrace the same opportunities as the ones talking about käyttömahdollisuudet, don't we? Right? The teaching and learning opportunities are really only limited by our own imagination as teachers, and understanding affordances is essential for learning how to deliver the new curriculum to your students. We can perform tasks or do stuff on numerous digital devices, but some devices are better suited for certain things than others. For example, we can basically do most things on a desktop computer, but it doesn't make sense to always drag a big computer around, and it only works if it's connected to a power source. So theoretically, one could write an essay, a whole essay with their smartphone, but it is much easier to use a computer, keyboard for typing and so on. So let's take a look at which digital devices are best suited for your favorite activities. So take a look at these digital devices. We are going to provide you with different types of activities, and you will have to decide which digital devices work best to complete them. The first activity is one person watching a video about robotics on the bus. Now take a second and think about which digital devices would be best for completing this activity. Our suggested digital devices are smartphones, tablets and laptops. And Having headphones would be a big plus if you ask from the person sitting next to you on a bus. Unless they are really into robotics too. The second activity is track your walking steps at lunch. So take a second to think about which digital devices would be best for completing this activity. Our suggested digital devices are smartphones and wearable fitness trackers. We don't want that extra weight of other types of devices, probably not. Your next activity is learn about historical sites in class. Now take a second to think about which digital devices would be best for completing this activity. Our suggested digital devices are VR headsets connected to a smartphone, possibly laptop, desktop, although even smartphone might work. Depends on the type of learning you want to do. You can view videos with your smartphones or just record the amazing scenes where your students step into roles and in that site, one of them is the river and so on. What? I just meant that there's a role for all of us in a play and there's a role for each device in a different situation. So different devices in different situations. And as you can see, different activities work best with a specific digital device. Choosing the right digital device will make it easier to complete your desired activities also in the classroom.